There we
There
are.
we are. There we are.
Oh, let me hang up the phone. All right.
What's going on, Adam?
Hey, how are you? So thank you everybody for joining. My name is Adam Levine. I'm a private lender, hard money lender, and I've been lending for over a decade. Private money actually before the institutional capital entered the market. And this is wow, we are on we have quite a few episodes we've been doing. I know we've been holding back. I know this episode's been being delayed, but you know what? Maybe it's a good thing, right? Because it's always sometimes the good topics, right? That you try to there's always a struggle. And finally, Mr. Liz was very busy, and we're very happy to be able to grab him on a busy Friday to join us to talk about his journey, how he got started in real estate, how he came up with his name, Mr. Elizabeth, how he learned about business credit, how he leverages business credit to buy houses. The topic was buying houses with a business credit card, and ultimately how he also could leverage his business credit with our type of money, hard money, private money. So I want to give this stage to Charles, Mr. Elizabeth, and pardon me. We are it's Tuesday, yeah. So we're going to be moving very soon. So that's why you see the background's a little off. We're actually moving to offices. We're cleaning up shop over here, and we're moving. So anyway, Mr. Elizabeth, take it away, please.
All right, guys. First of all, I appreciate everybody's time making it here. Adam, thank you very much for what you do, how you help others. Without you, it's hard for us to make the real money. So once again, we appreciate you, and I guess everybody's interested in how can I actually use my credit and get lines of credit or business credit cards and actually turn that into an asset instead of a liability, and to be able to pick up houses. So before we get into that, I just want to share with you guys a little bit how my journey started. I started actually with $0, no money at all, not even good credit. So there's many people that already fall or fit into my shoes. I went to a 3-day seminar because one thing is that you can't do this on your own. You got to have someone that is already where you want to be and try to see what took them or what steps did they take to arrive to where they're at right now. I was at a 3-day seminar, and my coach mentor at the moment, he was on stage, and I was like, man, I met this guy 8 years ago, and now I'm seeing him like live. Like, this guy was a full 360. He's changed. He had money. He was talking big things, and I'm like, man, like if I saw where he started to where he's at right now, like he's doing something right. So I joined a company, which you guys have probably heard of. They're on TV and all that. But it wasn't even about. It was more of the network and the people that were in it than the education itself. Because, when people are holding you accountable, it's like, hey, what did you do? How did you put in that offer? Who are you talking to? What event are you going to? So that's what I got out of being able to be within this group. Not only that, I had smarter people than me. I had the education. I put out the time. Literally was waking up at 7:30, 8 o'clock. I was doing the education from 8 to 12, grab lunch, then started doing driving for dollars from 1 to 6 p.m. And the thing is this, when we're taught earlier on, hey, you need money, or we're taught OPM, which is other people's money, first thing we hear is hard money lender. We hear private money lender. We hear friends and family. You know what's one thing we don't hear? How to use a credit card. And a credit card is OPM. It's considered as other people's money. Chase could be your uncle. You know what I'm saying? PNC banks, Wells Fargo. Yes, these are the conventional banks, the big boy banks that when you have established credit, that's where you want to head to. But you have your credit unions. You have your smaller mom and pop banks. You have local banks that are just in your town. Guys, these banks want to help you out. Another thing that we forget or that we think, oh, but I don't have taxes. I don't have income. I don't have reported income. Okay, guess what? There's stages to these things. Banks typically have a threshold that they will not be asking you for documentations. So one of the most important questions that you need to always ask is, hey bank, what how would you be able to fund me and give me access to capital with limited documentation? Why is that? You say, hey, I'm in a rush. I just gotta do a couple things. Another thing is where you need to start out is even choosing your LLC name. There's many names that you may have, they may be high risk. Okay. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you're high risk. What is a high risk? We all love real estate. We love real estate. But the moment that you say, I flip houses, you're high risk. If you say, if your company name is Gamblers Galore, gambling, high risk. Anything that has to do with financials, that you're basically helping others to do something financially, you can be a high risk. Being a consultant, no, because that's a whole different, has a NICS code, NAICS code. So you have to choose an industry that won't have it. Now, you could be in real estate. You could also be doing property management. The banks don't look at that as high risk. Why? Because a property manager, what does he do? He goes in, he collects money, he charges a fee, or he goes in, he rehabs a kitchen, a bathroom, does whatever it takes to get the property up and running, and that's the way he's making his money. But if you're gonna take the bank's money, put it in a house, not even know what you're doing with flipping it, with getting a plumber, a roofer, electrician, the bank thinks that you could lose their money, and they're not in the business of you losing their money. But if you need money for to grow your business, for working capital, that's it. That's where the real money. That's where they like to hear. Oh, you're expanding. I love it. Here's more money, so you could continue expanding. Hey, you're putting your money to marketing. Perfect. Make it happen. That's what they like to hear. So, earlier on, first couple things that I was showed is raise money. I did not know that I had the ability to use my credit. Then the same coach, he had a meetup on a Wednesday. I can remember it like it was yesterday. He says, hey, who's been using so and so company? Like 8 people stood up in the room. One guy that impressed me, it was him and his wife, got $212,000 in credit cards. And I was like, credit cards? That's a lot of money. Okay, but now what can you do with it? Did you know that there's actually third-party companies that you could liquidate those funds so that you can put it somewhere else? Did you know that you could use a company that you could swipe your card, they'll charge you the fee. Yes, they're going to ask you the proof, what you're sending it for, using the money, but you just send your purchase contract. They'll actually write out the check to the title company. Could be a check of 40,000 or 50,000, and that's a swipe. Like money you didn't even need to come out of pocket. So when I saw that this guy made 212, another one made 90,000, another one made like 65,000, I said, hold up. What are you guys doing? How's your credit? And then boom, the light bulb turned on. I said, my credit might not be the best, but now I could go to friends and family that have good credit or decent credit so that I can fix their credit, get them credit cards, and maximize. Now, this is something that Adam is not going to like, but I'm going to share it with you guys. And the thing is this, as hard money lenders, they want to pull your credit just so that they can see what are your obligations, what are your duties. And mind you, I didn't do this intentional. I did this unintentional, not even knowing what I was doing. But when I got credit under one of my family members' name, they got approved for 112,000 minus the fees that we had to pay the company and the cost of liquidation. You know that these credit card merchants charge you like 3%. So minus all that, I was able to liquidate $90,000 of the 112. And guess what? The $90,000, I was using it, but it wasn't under my credit. It was under a family member's credit. So if I would have gone to Adam and say, hey, Adam, I need a loan for this house. And Adam's going to be like, oh, you got money? I'm going to say, yeah, I got 90,000 in the bank. Okay, let's look at your credit. He would pull my credit, but he's not going to see that debt. So this was a little hack that you can do with a hard money lender so that they don't say, hey, you're overutilized, or you know what, your score is 650, even though I'm making all my payments on time. But they're also worried that you're going to be able to make, you're going to be on top of your job, you're going to be able to make payments for your job, and that you're not using their money to pay your credit card bills. So what ended up happening, it worked like a gem. It worked like a glove. I did my purchases with my real estate. I used the same credit card money to pay for the credit card monthly bills. You know, I was a little savvy with that. If I knew that my monthly credit card bills was going to be a total of, let's say, $7,000-8,000, I already took out $8,000 from the $90,000 pot that I just liquidated, and I had that out to the side, so that I wouldn't have to worry, at least for the next 6 months, where the next dollar was going to come from. And I also didn't want to jeopardize me having to touch that money when I knew I had an obligation with a hard money lender to pay my monthly payments. So guys, I just gave you three gems right there. Number one, if you don't have good credit, find a family or a friend that is willing to believe and trust in you so that you can fix their credit. Of course, this is all investment. Don't expect that you're going to wake up tomorrow and say, hey, this person has an 800 FICO. He's going to give me his credit. I wouldn't trust nobody with my credit, you know? So the whole thing is this. Find someone that believes in you, that has, yes, good credit, or even decent credit. Because this family member had decent credit, but guess what I did? Removed some of the things that didn't need to be there. Mind you, I started with no money. I did not have money, so I couldn't even, if that person had high utilization, I couldn't say, oh, I'm going to pay down your scores. But there were stupid things on the account that was already taken care of. Like, I think like there was a medical bill. Okay, the actual repair cost me maybe around like $1,200. That got repaired all of a sudden. There was a 742 FICO. That's good enough. Banks just like a 680 plus. 720, you're doing great. 780 above plus, forget about it. No questions are asked. So 742, I was there. But guess what? I worked with what I had. So now with the $90,000, the question may be, so what did you do? Yes, I was not known as Mr. Elizabeth always. I was just hungry to do a deal. Joe says utilization is under 5. My utilization under 5%. That's great, Joe. Keep it up. I was not always known as Mr. Elizabeth. I was just hungry, eager. I did not know what I wanted to do with my life, but I knew that I had purpose. I knew that I was smart. I knew that I had the ability to do great and bigger things. So the first property, believe it or not, I actually got it after 6 weeks of joining the program. And this program cost me $32,000 when I joined. I did not have that money. They showed us OPM. They said, go home, ask for line increases. That's exactly what I did. I had $11,000 on the card, no debt. They increased my line to $18,000. That's actually what I had to put down. And the day of the event, my mother saw me and she said, Charles, I think this is exactly what you need. This is the mentor. This is the group. This is the stuff where I think you're going to thrive and learn. And she says, look, I haven't ever invested in you, and I know that this is what you really want to be at. She gave me $7,000 that day. And she says, move forward. Prove me that you can do it. And what hit me was that she believed more in me than I believed in myself. And sometimes in life, all we need is just someone just to push us a little bit more. Just say, look, here's my hand. Take it. Come on. Let's come with me on this journey. This might be something new for you guys, but this stuff works. I'm living proof. So what I'm trying to say is that I was hungry. I was eager. I wanted to prove myself. My first property actually came in Newark. This is 2016. 2016 is when my real estate journey started, just so you to know, Adam. I bought the house for $70,000. Single family house. Valuation on this property was $260 ARV. One of the coolest things that I learned in this process was that, number one, you didn't need to gut rehab a house to say that I flipped it. You know, that's when I learned the lipstick on a pig. And I didn't even know that stuff existed. I'm like, are you serious? I could just paint this and say I just rehab this thing? And it's like, yeah, people do it. But of course, you leave some meat on the bones. Long story short, I made the outside look decent because it was real dilapidated. I cleaned out the whole inside because the outside. I'm sorry. I fixed the outside, meaning asphalt, sidewalks, power washed, painted the property. No, I didn't even paint the property. I just power washed it. Inside the house, I took out all the garbage. I'm talking about this person was a hoarder. Like, we had record player discs. Oof, maybe a good 400 or 500. It was a lot. Like 1/4 of the living room, and this living room was easily like around 15 by like 30, was full of just these record discs. Now, okay, so now, Rain, I'm gonna answer your question shortly. So first property that I got was $70,000 purchase, $30,000 in rehab, okay, and $260,000 valuation. I was able to get hard money to lend on that deal. It was my first one, and this is one thing I'm going to tell you. You got to ask everybody and anybody. I'm talking about, I was so strict to that program that when they say interview your attorneys, you're interviewing the attorneys. Like, my attorney said, there's no one that's ever interviewed me as much as you're doing it. So I literally took that program so literal, just so that I made sure I did it right. I told my mother, I said, if these people tell me I got to paint the ceilings pink, I'm going to do it because that's what makes money. I'm going to do it. So I got a hard money lender like that, mind you, first deal that I'm possibly ever doing. Then I was able to use the same credit card money to pick up that property, pay the $30,000 using the funds. Guess what? I listed at the wrong time, so that was my fault. That wasn't the market's fault. That was my fault. I listed it right in Thanksgiving. We had a snowfall that year, and worst of it all was that the block was like a little bit narrow. So when they were cleaning out the streets, the sanitation department came with the trucks, and they just basically said, "Oh, this house is empty," and they put all the snow blocking my driveway, blocking my entrance of the property, and I was supposed to have an open house that next weekend. So timing was bad. Everything got delayed, but guess what? Long story short, ended up selling that property for $190,000. Simple math, made $90,000 on my first flip coming out of the program. 6 weeks into it, got the first deal. What did I do with the profits? Without even knowing what I was wanting to do, I bought my first office building at that time with that one profit. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and the thing is this. People say, Charles, why Mr. Elizabeth? Let me get to the answer. I said to myself, if I'm ever going to buy real estate and I'm ever going to have someone manage it, why not put a family member? I, by nature, love traveling. I enjoy going and being in San Antonio, Texas. So I said, if I'm ever going to manage or leave it to someone, it's going to be my mother. She lived in Elizabeth, and I said, you know what? This is going to be my town. I always knew that you can go and buy stuff in your own backyard and not need to chase stuff. And unfortunately, if we were able to look at the clock at how things would have moved fast forward, I would have bought so much more Newark. I'm talking about you could have bought lots for 30,000, 20,000, damaged houses, burned down houses, like almost $15,000, $30,000. And it's like on top of that, we were still trying to negotiate those deals, you know. Um, and I'm not saying that Elizabeth was cheap, but I couldn't afford it. So that property, that single family that I bought in Newark in that time was 170. Let's say single family in Elizabeth in those days was around 180. To pick up something that was even a great deal. Now what happened? My next deal, I was just driving around, saw a house, dilapidated windows just sitting there, and everything is all in the follow-up, the follow-up, the follow-up. Kept on calling this realtor. He didn't pick up. I already knew that this guy was gonna be hard to deal with. It took me like 3.5 weeks of constant following up with this guy. He eventually calls me and said, "Look, I'm interested. I'm a cash buyer," even though I wasn't. But I knew that I could have raised the private money and I could have called myself the cash buyer. I ended up just knowing what the price was, walked the property, and then I said, you know what? Let me just give it to one of my buddies because I was like, I don't have the money to complete this flip. And long story short, I told one of the mason guys, my cement guy, and I was like, "Yeah, you want this property?" I was picking it up for 120, a two-family house in Elizabeth. And he's like, "How much you want for it?" And I said, 200, it's yours. He's like, "Oh, 200, you're crazy. That's ridiculous. There's a lot of work needs to be done." And I said, "All right, you know what? In order for me to be able to even sell it to him, I got to put it on the contract." So I did. This was a property I put on the contract by accident. Okay, by accident. Long story short, fast forward on that property, I netted 145,000. By accident property. Yeah. So, my strategy was flip, purchase commercial. Flip, purchase commercial. So, what I'm trying to get at with you guys. The whole reason why I'm sharing my story is for you to understand that I did not know how this stuff works. I did not know how to use the leverage of a bank. And mind you, in those days, I was scared to even open my mouth and say, "Yeah, I make $700,000" when I didn't even know how to pay a credit card. So I was willing to pay. I think I paid $8,500. And it was supposed to include 2 rounds of funding. But in order for me to get to the second round of funding, I actually had to pay down the credit cards, which I was not ever able to, because I just got profits and kept on throwing it into other properties. And I was like, you know what? I got low interest rates, 0% interest rates. Why am I going to even pay those off and try to restart this whole entire process? So since I had the money on hand and I was getting the cash at closing, I just kept on turning and turning and turning, and I thought it was cheaper just to pay the interest rate than me having to return the funds. So why am I sharing all this stuff with you? Is just to let you guys know that this stuff is possible. I paid $8,500, and this was not even money that they got me on the personal on the business side. The business side is a whole different story. These are all credit cards that I got on the personal side. I'm talking about Discover, Citibank, what was it? I think
This
I got
is personal under your family.
Yeah, family
right?
member's name. Yeah,
So I was wondering why you were, because I know business, it doesn't usually show up on your personal. Most, I don't, not
exactly.
all of them, but so okay.
It doesn't, but that's what I'm saying. That's how blind I was to this whole situation, that I was willing to put even pay for all that money, even though it went on the personal. I didn't even know that. Oh, you put on the personal, high utilization, your credit is gonna tank. You won't be able to do nothing financially. But the first thing that they did ask is, are you okay with this individual that their credit might not be the best for the next 2 years? And I asked that person, I was like, you ain't doing that for the next 2 years. They're like, nah, why would I? I was like, all right, you're the perfect candidate for me. And
did you cut them a deal? I mean, there's got to be a incentive for them
what I did do, what I negotiated was, I'm gonna fix your credit. I'm gonna pay off all these credit cards. I'm gonna leave it at zero balance, and now I'm gonna give you all those credit cards for you to keep. So whenever you wanted to launch your business, you're gonna have more than $100,000, and you don't even have to pay for the services. So technically,
no
what I
profit
did,
for them.
yeah. So technically, what I did was the $8,500 that I paid up initially to
paid up card,
that, the $1,200 that I paid to fix the credit, and the $112,000 that now that they had in credit cards, was when I finished paying all that debt. That was all their cards. I didn't need it anymore. So that was my gift, or that was the you could say the switch that I did with them, so that they would say, okay, this is cool.
So you can find some guy on the street. They had to have a social, try to get a maybe.
Technically. But I work with integrity, so I'm gonna pay down the debt. There's others that'll ask for that money and run away, and that's it. You know? they just did $100,000 payday, so you gotta have somebody in which you're willing to connect with. That that you're able to work, and just be fully transparent. Look, this money is going to be used in real estate. These are the properties as we're sitting at, and blah blah blah. So that was all on the personal side, and that's what I said. Then as time went on, we have a mutual friend, Joe Lawrence, and that guy.
He was on. I think about a month ago. Fantastic.
I
watched that over and over again when
he opened up my eyes, and he's like, guys, business credit, blah blah blah, this is what you got to do. And I think I bought like 2 or 3 programs of his at this point. But this is the difference with Joe Lawrence. He will actually show you how to fish. Okay, when we want money, we don't care about learning to fish. Just give me the fish. Like, when I'm hungry, like, don't show me how I gotta cook it. Just feed me. Like, I'm willing to pay for that service. So as time went on, it's like, okay, I got 90, but I don't need 90 anymore. To buy a commercial building, I gotta drop almost $280,000 of down payments. Where am I coming up with this? Yes, the flip money helped me, but it's like, there's gotta be something more than this. Did you know that there's banks out there? Like I said to you earlier on, you ask them, how can I get this money, or how can I get this line of credit with a limited documentation? And this is my excuse. You guys could use it, take it as a gem, but this is real. I just tell them, I say, look, I make good money, but my accountant is a little slow. And every time I ask him for documentation, he's taking forever to get to me. And because of that, I cannot even, ask him for my stuff right now. And oh my goodness, they're like, oh, don't worry. We understand. You're not the only person that comes in here and does that.
Oh.
She came to visit me. So what am I trying to say? This is the excuse that I tell them. I say, hey, you know what? My account is a little slow. I would get you these documentations, but I need the money now. So what can we do? What type of loan can you guys give me that is limited docs? And then they'll spew out the answer. They'll say, hey, we could get you up to 100,000 without needing tax returns. Perfect. That's my number. Hey, next bank, what can you do? We could go up to 50,000. That's my number. That's the first question. Then the next question is, hey, do you guys do credit cards? And I'll share with you guys a gem right now. PNC is a great bank. PNC will give you a line of credit up to $100,000, no docs, and PNC will also give you they have 2 credit cards, one for $50,000, 0% 9 months, and another $25,000 credit card, 0% 9 months. One bank that I'm sharing with you guys is $175,000. All you need is good credit. And this is the other thing. People think that, oh, I got an 800 FICO. I'm going to go and I'm going to get approved for $175,000. No, it don't work like that. If I want to say, hey, Adam, give me $175,000, Adam's going to be like, who is this guy? Like, Why should I give him? Oh, Adam, my FICO's not. You don't care about that. But what happens if I say, Adam, you know what? Come on, this weekend, I know you like to play soccer. Let's go watch a soccer game. Hey, Adam, I know you like MMA. Let's go watch an MMA fight. Hey, Adam, you know what? I love tomahawk steaks. Come join me for a meal. I'm investing into Adam, and now he's like, man, I've seen this guy. He talks to me about his flips. He talks to me how he makes money. I've trusted in him. What I'm trying to say is you need to build a relationship. Don't show up to a bank and expect $175,000 without a relationship. You need to go and build a relationship. The secret with PNC is that after you build your relationship, 60 days later, you can now ask them for money. So, unfortunately,
do you have to open up a bank account with them?
Absolutely. That's the only way you open up, you start a relationship. Now, if that bank can offers personal and business checking, do both. You don't lose anything. Okay. Now, there's more levels to this, and I'm just going to try to keep it simple so I don't confuse no one. But the levels to this is that what happens if you have 2 and you have 3 and you have 4 different accounts with them? For example, I would never put my personal residence with a bank that I'm actually opening up a business account with, which you can. One is okay. But don't apply for a business account and then start asking the bank for a line of credit. If you got a first lien position with a bank, conventional loan, that's fine. But the moment you ask for a line of credit, what do you think they're going to ask? Tax returns. The moment they own your tax returns, what do you think you're going to say? I made $700,000 last year. They have the proof. So that's what I'm trying to say. Don't commingle. This is all about being smart with them. You know, like, yeah, you just got to be smart with them. So if you can, you also need to be depositing money. What would I open up with? If let's say I only had $20,000, the best thing I would do is open up your account with $5,000. 2 weeks later, go deposit $6,200. Don't put 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. Yeah, at the end of the day, you're still going to reach 20,000, but it looks like your numbers could fluctuate. So what are they going to say? Oh, this guy's business, 1 week he does better than the others. Okay. 2 weeks later, dump in maybe $49.50. And then 2 weeks after that, which now we're looking at week number 8, 60 days later, dump in whatever is left. Maybe it might be 7,200, 7,100, whatever. Now, guess what the bank's going to do? They're going to add up your totals, and now they're going to multiply that by 12, and now they're going to say, $20,000 times 12. This person easily has made $240,000 just based on the deposits we've seen. And what did you make? What did you start out with? Only $20,000. So, guys, when you go apply, even if you were to put down, I made $350. Okay, that's fine. They might not question you because they've seen the proof. You know, like if I tell Adam, let's go eat this steakhouse, and I speak about the first tomahawk, and then I show him another steakhouse and be like, look, this is another tomahawk. Adam's mind, he's going to be like, man, this guy knows every single restaurant that sells good tomahawks. Why? Because I've already proving it to him. But if one day he's like, oh, let me look at the menu and let me see what they got, that might be a sign for Adam, like, this guy don't even know what to order in this place. This is probably his first time he's here. You see what I'm saying? But there's a different level of confidence when I'm showing the bank, hey, I put in 5 here, then I put in 7 over here, then I put in 5,800 over there. The bank is going to be like, oh, this is real. This guy is making $240,000 for real. And if I even put 320, they know that numbers change. You know, depends on your industry. Oh, so what exactly you do? That's another thing. Make sure you have a story that lines up with what you really do. You know? So, Charles, so what do you do? I'm a consultant. Oh, how so? What do you do? Well, and this is the new thing I did. So I'm going to explain to you guys how I turned the worst possible name that you can use for SEO purposes was the best name I could possibly use, but for banking purposes was the worst thing I could have chosen. My company name is I think Joe's saying how much money amount to put in for personal and business. Personal, they don't care about too much, so you could do like $1,000, $2,000. But the business side, you definitely want to start out with as much as you can right before you apply. After you get your money, your $100,000, you can wipe out all your money. It doesn't really matter. I would just stay with $1,000, $2,000 just sitting in there always, because you can make your automatic payments. So that's that.
Using your credit card money to open up the bank account with deposits, probably.
So no, so you could do that if you already have money.
Or if you don't have money, but not that much credit.
Yeah, exactly. But there's something else that I do that is called I recycle the money. So basically, I'll explain that secret. Write that down. I'm gonna get back to that. I forgot where I was going at. Man, this is getting so good, but I lost my train of thought.
Go with the business, how you turned a name.
Oh yes. How I turned the worst name, the best real estate name into but the worst funding name. So my company name is called Fast Home Buyers USA. Like I said, this is the worst name you can possibly give a bank because it tells you exactly what I do. It literally says he's a flipper. That is it. So I did what I had to do in the beginning. I just deposited some money, and because of my deposits and my proof of income and coming in with my checks of 60,000 and 90 and 120, 140,000, they okayed it to give me, but they also still asked me, Charles, what exactly you do? I said, I'm a project manager. This is my story then, not right now. I'm an equity partner in some deals. So I don't take on the deal directly, but I'm an equity partner in them. Now, what have I changed my name? My name has changed. My name has not changed. But now when I open up a bank account with a bank, I tell them, hey guys, my company name, yes, unfortunately, it's called Fast Home Buyers USA. I have it already for over 7 years, which I'm not going to change my name and I'm not going to do a DBA on because I'm already known in the market for this. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Before, I used to flip houses. I don't do that anymore. The one problem that I found out while flipping houses is that I never had help. Meaning I never had a coach. I never had a mentor. At 10 o'clock at night when the water is leaking and the plumber is nowhere to be found, how do you solve certain things without costing me so much? And I said, and that is the problem that I decided to start solving after COVID. I now became more of a project manager slash I was a project manager, a consultant. So when people are going to be going through their job sites, I could actually tell them, hey, this is what we should be doing week 1. This is what we should be doing week 2. I'm always on call. I'm on standby. I only take anywhere from 2 to 3 clients on a monthly basis. I get paid weekly, blah, 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 blah. Now I was able to change that. I went from a flipper to now I'm more of a coach slash consultant. Banks love that story, and I'm still getting funded. That's all I'm going to say with you to you on that one.
And you only have one entity. You only have one entity you're using still.
For my flips, yeah, it's only one entity.
And for the lines of credit.
So for my lines of credit, I have 7 different banks.
Okay.
7 different entities. So and I did that on purpose for just asset protection. So all my buildings have their own LLC. And that's why when I created my LLCs, I never did 123 Main Street or 123 Broad Street. Why? Because, that's a property. But I would call it XYZ Property Manager or Property Management LLC. So then I could go to a bank and easily say, oh, yeah, my management company does X amount of money in revenues. But Charles, how are you making $800,000 with only managing 4 buildings? Oh, I'm glad you asked me that question. Well, just to start out, each building has maybe I could say 10, 12 units. Okay, that looks like 48 units. And I said, but did you know how many bathrooms and how many kitchens are there? And I said, and did you know that there's still landscaping? Did you know that there's still asphalt? Did you know that there's still concrete, sidewalks, and all that? So now what I tell them is we make a killing when we do bathrooms and when we do kitchens. And this is how I'm able to charge $30 and $40 and $50,000 to rehab just one unit. And I said, our goal is this. We charge great upfront. We'll make the money, but that tenant is there for the next 5-7 years. Who do you think is happy? I said, it's a win-win, both parties. I make good money, and they're happy because they don't have to make the same investment for years to come. And then the bank said, oh, okay, this makes sense. So $40,000 per unit, oh, yeah, you only have to do like 20 units. And I said, yeah, and that's not even 1/4 of the portfolio. So now the numbers make sense. You see what I'm trying to say? Guys, anytime you go to a bank, the story's got to add up. Don't say I make $800, but I only work 2 hours a day. Yeah. If you're at that point, you're on the news, you're on headlines, everybody's got to know your name at that point. You see what I'm trying to say? Some other things, if you want to look real professional, what do you need? Make sure if you have a logo, if you have a name, make a logo to it. Go on Fiverr, make that happen. Have yourself a corporate telephone number. Okay. Now, besides the corporate telephone number, what is even better is make sure your name adds up to your business. So if my company name is Fast Home Buyers USA, make sure I own Charles at Fast Home Buyers USA. There's people that are still on Fast Home Buyers USA gmail.com, but yet indeed I make $800,000. Does this add up? That's only a $7 fee you're paying to Google on a monthly basis, and you can't afford $84 a year, but you're making $800,000. Something's not adding up. That means you're really paying a bookkeeper. You have someone that is overlooking your business. You see what I'm saying? Website is great. Did I have something in the beginning? I had something so generic, literally. But my website said we buy houses, this and that, the other. Now, sometimes the banks might want to verify your website. So if you want to take it one step further, there's two companies, and I know that Joe talks to this about Yext, YEXT.com. That company will actually promote your LLC name or your website in like Yahoo, Bing, Google search, throw it on Facebook. Like, you will be known. It's a service of like $289 yearly that you pay. But talk about getting notoriety, being known, that's powerful. So that's another tip that you can have. Your website is also doing it. Guys, we got AI nowadays. You could have robots on your website like that constantly pop up and have a full conversation with someone you didn't even sit down once. So there's a lot of many different tools that you can do and you have. But the most important one is, number one, make sure that your credit is right. Number two, that you're building the relationship with the banks. Now, if I find the QR code in which I created, I'm going to share with you one big tip that everybody, I believe, should have, which is make sure that you have accounts with Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. The free account. I'm not saying go pay for it. Free account. Why is it? Because now you can go out and freeze your credit. Why is it important to freeze your credit? Why should I have my credit open to all three bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, and Equifax, when I know that American Express is only going to care about TransUnion? But guess what? If I give American Express all three options to pull from, why wouldn't they want to pull all three options? You see what I'm trying to say? But if I know that that Amex only cares about TransUnion, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to freeze Equifax, I'm going to freeze Experian, and I'm going to just leave TransUnion open for them. And after they did my first pull on my credit card with TransUnion, I'm now going to freeze that. And now I'm going to apply for a secondary card with Amex. And now I'm going to force them to use my first pull that they did and not cause me a second inquiry. Every time you get an inquiry, yes, your points go down. Yes, you could dispute it. But why do I want to waste my chances of applying to even more banks with giving a bank the opportunity to keep on pulling my credit? Now, the easiest bureau that you can have to remove all the inquiries is Experian. Take my word on it. I've done a video. I've shared my experience. I've recorded myself live calling these people. Easy to work with. You tell them, hey, I don't see I didn't authorize this pull. The thing is this: if you're gonna dispute an inquiry, make sure, like, let's say, for example, let's use Amex. If I just apply for Amex credit card, but I also have an Amex card on the personal side, I cannot call up Experian and say, hey, Experian, Amex just pulled my credit. This is unauthorized. They're gonna say, yeah, but you have it. It shows up here on your personal account. You're probably applying for a line of credit. I mean, a credit increase, or it might have been Amex that just wanted to see your profile. So guess what? We will not be able to delete that. I'm sorry. Boom, you're done. But if I don't have a Amex on the personal side, and Amex I just pulled for the business side, I could call up Experian. Experian says, oh, I'm sorry for that. We'll try to solve this for you within the next 48, 72 hours. Guess what's going to happen in the next 30 minutes? You'll look up, it's going to say deleted. What you want is you never want to be applying for banks and have 20 inquiries on your account, and the bank's going to say, why are you asking for so much credit? Do you know that when you're in this like phase of wanting to get more and more money, I only recommend, others could say different, but I recommend you only have 3 on Equifax, 3 on Experian, and 3 pulls on TransUnion at a bare max, 9 total. Once you get that, wipe it all out. For Equifax and TransUnion is much harder than Experian. You want to do Experian, you could do it yourself, or I have someone that that does the credit increase for me. He just charges $500, 20 inquiries or less, 500 flat fee, gone in 3 weeks, ready to go for another round of funding. So that's what I recommend. If Adam, you give me a moment at the end, I'll look for the QR code. We'll post it, and like that, we'll share it with everybody else.
We have some questions though. Someone had a question.
I think
I think they want to know like a third party service provider.
Yes, I think of Builder Logics. I imagine the interest rate on liquidating credit card money must be oppressive. So, Builder Logics, this is the answer to that. When you're liquidating funds, you're actually paying a company. So it's not like you're doing what do you call it? A cash advance. You're not paying that 29.99%. If you have like the Chase Inc. card, that's 0%. You're still going to be paying that 0%. Now, this is, I think somebody else asked, Rainey. I think that's the way you pronounce the name. I highly recommend, for example, we're not going to put Adam on the spot, but if let's say I was real close friends to Adam, I could say, hey, Adam, look, I got to liquidate some of these cards. Do you have any cards you want to liquidate? He might say, yeah, Charles, I do. So I'll say, Adam, charge me $25,000. Say that you charge me for a service. And he's going to say, hey, Charles, here's $25,000. Put down a service that you did. I could say construction because I still have that company. Guess what? I'm going to charge him $25,000. He's going to have to pay the 3%. It's like 2.8, 2.9% of what the merchant charges. So always keep that in mind. 3% of, let's say, 25,000 is $750. And I'll also be paying $750. But guess what? Whatever interest rate promotion that I have running at that time is still going to be available. Now, if you guys want to know the company that I use to buy houses, to do any big purchases, even it's even happened that I've needed to private lend some money, and I've lended off credit cards. How crazy is that? I'm making money off of someone else's money, and I'm charging that fee in between. So this is something else that you guys could even be doing. That sometimes you say, okay, I'm going to get all these credit card money. What am I going to do with it? Well, number one, you could come to me and I'll borrow it. Number two, you could go out there and lend it out to someone else. You could use it to buy real estate. The choices that you have are endless. But the company that I use to get this taken care of is called Plastique. Plastiq. Now with Plastique, if the amount is small enough, they're just gonna say to you, no problem, and both they'll pay it out. Like let's say 2, 3, 4,000. So Joe says, I want to use funds to lend it out. Say no more, Joe. Talk to me. I got you.
Arbitrage.
And if let's say you're gonna look to buy a house, or you're gonna go to auction, you're gonna do tax liens, or you're gonna do whatever. What you need to do is you're just gonna submit when you put in the order who you want to pay to. Like let's say is XYZ title company, amount 25,000. And trust me, let me just give you guys this nugget. We know that we put real estate on the contract, right? All right. We might have a credit card of $75,000. Now, what were to happen if I say to the title company and I say to the seller, hey, I want to buy your house. I want to put down $75,000. You guys know that we all have like 10 days inspection period that we could inspect the property. We like it. We don't like it. Okay. Let's say we don't like the property. All of a sudden, we don't like the property. But we use Plastique. So when I got Plastique, I send them the contract that my name is on it. My company name's on it. I'm paying with the card that my company has, okay, that I'm sending over to the title company. Plastique writes out the check within 2-3 days. Title company has it. Now they have 75,000. Let's say I put down 75,000. So getting back to the story, let's say I don't like the property no more. Guess what I'm going to tell the title company? Title company or my attorney, I saw that this property has an oil tank, or it's got contamination, or there's too many termites. The foundation is bad. Whatever. I don't like the property. Let's cancel it. Okay, we cancel it. Guess what the title company is going to say to you? How would you like to receive your funds back? Guess what I'm going to tell them? Wire it right back to me. So did we see how we just liquidated funds? It's a little hack, guys. Like, there's many things that could be done. Not every card is 75,000. Not every card is 50,000. But there's many different ways. Like, I don't know about you guys, but when it's tax season, IRS charges me a lot of money. And guess what I'm doing to pay those guys off? I'm swiping my card, and they charge me like 1.82%. When I'm paying that. Not only that, we're forgetting the benefits that come with this. You know that we get miles. You know, we get points. You could transfer that stuff for many different things. You know, that's a whole different topic on how to even work that. But that's money. I know guys that make $20,000 and $30,000 just by playing with points. They buy, return, they resell it and come back. It's like it's crazy. You know, it's called manufacturer spending. What they do, like paying rent. You know, like, it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of things you could do. So, that's the name of the company, Plastique, PLASTIQ.com. I think Ron is saying, so as each card with 0% expires, we go and get new cards with 0%. Okay, Ron, great point that you brought that up. So what's going to happen here? For example, Chase Inc., right? They have 3 cards. And all of those 3 cards produce 0%. This is another hack I'm about to share with you guys. So pay attention. I would never apply for all 3 cards. I would apply for 2 cards only. Why 2 cards? Because those 2 cards, they might give me 50,000 and 50,000. And just for you to know, Chase goes up to $150,000. Just for you guys to know. It's not that it's on your first shot. On your first shot, the max they'll give you is 50,000. Then they'll bump it up to 75 or 100,000. So that's just for you guys to keep in the back of your mind. 50,000, they give me 1 card. 50,000, they give me my next card. Perfect. Now what are we gonna do? We're at month 12 5 more days before the year's up and 0% is done with. Yes, we're going to be forced to pay down the cards, okay, somewhat. But then comes January. Now we're going to apply for their third card at 0%. What I typically try to do, because I already know that I could use the money and pull it back out. So what I would try to do is I would find a way to pay down that $50,000 card completely off, right? And now that card is going to go up to like maybe 18.5%, 19%. But remember, I have 50,000. Now let's say I applied for my third card. And that third card, they gave me $50,000 as well. Okay. 0%. This strategy is what they call card stacking. So with card stacking and Chase, what you end up doing is I'll call up Chase and I say, hey, rep, on my first card that I have with you, Chase, it has a limit of 50,000. I would like to be able to transfer some of that balance, the balance credit that I have. Remember, I just paid it off. Hypothetically, I just paid off that card. So I have 50,000 available on the first credit card. So I'll leave 5,000 on that first card, and that $45,000 extra, I'm going to say, can you please transfer that credit over to my third card that I just applied for you that's got the 0%? Oh, yes, Mr. Charles, absolutely. We'll do that for you. Thank you for being such a great customer. Okay, perfect. Did you know now that that third card that I just got from Chase now has a brand new limit of $95,000 at a 0% interest rate? Did you understand that? So Ari's asking, same LLC or different LLC to get the second and third cards. That's all up to you. Remember, you are the personal guarantor on the card. So that's the beauty of business credit. With business credit, all these cards, right? All these cards are going to be under the business EIN, but you're personally guaranteeing it, which means if you default by XYZ reason, it is now going to populate on your personal side. And even all that debt that you have on the business side is going to populate on the personal side. So never try to be late on these cards. Do whatever it takes to not be late on these cards. This is not worth it. So you could use it on the second and third cards. So if I'm going to apply right now fresh, I would do cards 1 and 2 on the same business. No problem. Card number 3, you can still try in the same business, or you want to do a whole different business. That's totally fine. That's no problem. Joe said, Charles, you explained the strategy to get business credit cards. Can you explain how to get business lines of credit with the banks that you've established relationships with? Absolutely. Same way that you're going to apply for the business credit cards is the same way you're going to apply for the lines of credit. The lines of credit with the bank is an internal product that the bank offers. So, for example, Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo just came out with a brand new 15-month 0% credit card for business owners. So write that down, guys. This is something brand new. That's telling you how much the banks want to put out money out there for you guys. So let's say Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, you go into a branch and you tell them, hey, I'm going to be needing some money for my business. It's called working capital. That's what I want to do. So with the working capital is what I always say that I'm going to do. I'm looking to expand my business. I'm looking to do some marketing. I need to generate more money. Now, why does this matter to the bank? When the bank knows that they're going to help you make more money, what do you think you're going to do with that money? You're going to bring it right back to the branch. And if you bring it right back to the branch, what do? They make money on your money. So it's a win-win all the way around. They just need to understand how and why they should give you the money and what you're going to do with it. So when you go to a bank, you ask them what type of loans or cards do they have that is limited documentation, and they might tell you business line of credit is one of them. Now you tell them, hey, what are my odds of making this? Also, guys, another thing, the formula for most of these banks is whatever you state as your gross income, 10 to 15% of that number is what they'll max lend you out for. So what does that mean? That means that if you get a card for, if you put down $600,000 that you make, 10%, they'll max give you up to $60,000. If the bank only goes up to $50,000, guess what? You have the great chances of only making $50,000. Now, if you some banks that go, let's say, up to 100,000, and you say you make 600,000, 15% of 600,000 is $90,000. So if you get approved for $90,000, guess what? That's exactly what that means. Their formula is only 15% of whatever you put down in gross. Another thing, when I put down my numbers, I never leave them exact. I never say, oh, I made 200,000. Oh, I made 400,000. It's like, you really made only 400,000? You sure you make like $398,540.23? So what I'm trying to say is, if I'm going to say I made a number, I'll say like, and remember, this is your projected income, so you're not lying. What do you think you're going to make projected? $477,000. You know, say to yourself, hey, if I do this deal and I multiply this 5 times this year, yeah, that's my number. Okay, that's what you put down. But remember, it's got to match up to the amount of money that you put down when you open up your accounts. That's what you guys got to keep in mind. Don't put in $5,000. Yeah, stated income, you got it. Don't put in $5,000 and try to ask for $100,000 and say, yeah, I'm making $1 million, but all I was able to bring in 2 whole months is $5,000. Guys, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You could borrow the money from any of your other checking accounts, or borrow money from someone. Pay a lender, hey, what would you charge me just to sit money in the bank? Whatever it is, it's an investment. It's not a cost. So there's 2 ways about doing this. Number 1, you could do it yourself. Number 2, you could just, like I said, either be taught how to fish or let the fish come directly to you. If you're in a position that you just want the fish, I could hook you guys up with one of my resources. They're also flat fee. That's what I liked about them. And I'll tell you right now, they'll do funding up to 1 entire year, $7,500. That's it, flat. For you guys to know, ongoing rate, it's 10 to 15% of your succession fee. That's what typically most companies charge. He likes to work a lot with the Spanish community, but if I send them people, he's taking care of them at that flat fee. So guys, at the end, I'm going to try to share his information. If you guys want to reach out to him, no problem. Stephanie asked, does bank verify state income? No, Stephanie. That's why you're personally guaranteeing it. And that's why you need to have a relationship with the bank so that they're not asking these questions. It's like when I said to you, if I say, hey, Adam, let's go to a soccer game. Hey, Adam, let's go watch an MMA fight. I must know that information because I've studied Adam and I've seen probably his posts, or I see where he's at, where he's hanging out. And if I tell Adam, hey, Adam, come and have tomahawks with me and come and eat here and come eat there, and I'm constantly talking about food, must mean that I know what I'm talking about when I'm just constantly talking about the same topic. Build a relationship. You get way further in this business. Adam, I don't know if you got questions. You want to open it up to questions?
Yeah, no, I want to open up the question. I know
I'm going to look up.
We could always do another round of this because we've been on here for. Yeah, we'll probably do another one eventually. I think it'll be good to maybe go over questions, and then we could pick another we could do like a round 2 of this, you know.
I'm telling you, brother, this is the easiest money. Not that nobody's knocking down your business, but this is that easy money that, you know, could put into money makes money. And if you could actually learn to use your credit to make that money, like I always ask people the question, how many flips does it take for you to make 50,000? You know, you could go to one bank and get 50,000, and you still have 8 more banks you could go to that you're not gonna have issues with pulling credit. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the big difference here.
Oh, it's a whole strategy. Does your bank verify? Anybody have any questions? You can put up a QR code. You said.
Yeah. I'm looking for that right now.
I'm looking for a document too because I had something. I'm trying to moving, so I don't know what I did with that document. Actually, I was applying for. You got me thinking. I was applying for a business credit card for another LLC, and I'm like, but they came back. They want me to give them documents. I'm like.
So now that all depends on to what exactly is it that you
I think they wanted my photo ID or something. I don't know, driver's license. I think they want.
Yeah. So if you don't ask that important question, as to like, how do I, up to how much do you guys go on limited doc? That's the number one question you need to ask. If you do that, trust me, you're gonna be totally fine. There's got to be more questions out there.
There's got to be more. I have a new. I'm trying to do the same strategy with one of my LLCs that's almost 2 years old, and it got me thinking. This whole strategy about credit cards, and I remember I got that letter in the mail, but I think they want my. I don't want to forget about it, because I want to get that credit card. Start building my business credit. I don't know what I did with that document. I'll call them up. What banks are good in the area? I mean, you just said PNC Bank is one of them.
Yeah, PNC. If you're gonna open up a bank account, guys, highly recommend you guys do highly recommend you guys start out with Chase. That's the number one bank that I would recommend you guys always.
Even for lines of credit, or unsecured business line of credit.
For which one? For Chase? Yeah, Chase gives you the top 3 cards that you want to get. They're in card.
Not credit card for like business, an unsecured business line of credit, not the credit card.
Oh, insecure lines of credit. Yeah. There's multiple. Always ask the local bank that you're starting out with. That's number one. PNC is a great bank to start out with. The next one that I would do is Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo also has now a 0% 15-month credit card for the business. Besides that, you could have credit unions, Affinity Credit Union. You open up an account there with $5. It's a no-brainer.
I think we just gave a list of a whole bunch of banks: PNC, Wells Fargo, Affinity Credit Union, Chase.
There's another bank called KeyBank.
KeyBank
does $50,000. What banks are good in the area? That's the person we're asking to. Look, and these smaller banks, Flagster, they just bought out Garden State Community Bank. This is no brainer.
Did you find that QR code?
Yeah. How do I add it on?
Good question. I think you have to present your screen. Hit present. They put your QR code up and then just present your screen.
Okay, let me
if you look at the bottom, right, it says mute on the left, stop cam settings, present.
Okay. Let me just get the file then.
We're gonna do another round too. I hate to keep you on here for the 2 hours. This thing can go on forever.
Yeah. But it's no problem. If there's questions, great. If there's no more questions, then
we could do another one.
Yeah, let me see if I could at least give these guys.
Yeah, they drive me nuts. I can't find that document now. I've been meaning I wanted to call them up and find out. got me thinking about this. I totally forgot about it. That's what happens when you're moving. I'm like throwing a bunch of stuff out in the house. Any other questions? They call them backyard banks. I know that's what Joe calls them. Like, because like you have local banks in your area, so you really want to go find a local bank. They call it backyard banks. Go, follow the strategy, build a relationship. I know Joe just gave some good banks, but there's so many banks out there.
Yeah, they really are. Although I think I got the file now.
And what is this QR code again for? So everybody could refresh everybody's memory.
So the QR code is basically gonna give you the step-by-step on how you're able to create the free accounts with Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And I also go into step-by-step on how is it you freeze the accounts and unfreeze them. So this is very important for when you're gonna be applying to these banks. This is what you're gonna be needing when you I get it right now. When you're going to be applying to these banks, because you don't want to leave it open for these banks to just get whomever they want.
I got to follow that strategy too. I've never frozen it before. Actually, So
I'm just going to tell you guys this. I don't know if you could see the file.
Here it is. I think it is. I got it right here. Boop. Yeah. There you go. Scan it.
So guys, that right there is the information. That's the telephone number if you guys want to reach out to me. I'll tell you this right now. It is in Spanish. Just click in the middle. There's like a little funnel that someone made for me. But the videos are actually in English. So don't worry about it. If you don't know how to read or understand, 3 questions going to ask you name, number, and email address, and it'll give you full access to it. You have my direct telephone number there. Adam, if you want to call me back.
I would say, like, look, if you want, I'll get that. So if you ever need like private money, whatever type of funky stuff, we work on a lot of gap funding. Actually, we got some funky ones we're doing this week. Basically saving people because they're about to lose their EM. It's a long story, but they don't have a gap fund. They need it. What really happens is a lot of times I see a common scenario. You have a lot of people that they got like a bunch of rental properties and flips, and they want to buy another property. Problem is they can't refi in time. They can't sell a property in time. Then they come to me because they need us to provide them down payment money, or they're going to lose their EMD and whatnot. So we're very creative. I brought someone on board, Cassandra. She's amazing. She helps. She's amazing. She helps spearhead all these funky loan scenarios. And another thing too is working with us, we understand the whole creative finance using business lines of credit, business credit cards. We have plenty of resources, as you know. We have Charles here. We also know Joe Lawrence. And we can help you leverage that business credit to obtain a hard money loan to buy a house to flip or buy rentals.
Yeah, so that's definitely what I was sharing is that I use the credit cards to drop my 10%, and then you come along and you give me the other 90. And then I also use the little extra that I have to upfront my construction costs. And after I've done my first phase, then I say, hey, Adam, I need more money. And then you give me back the draw so I could continue. And that's the power of that because, it's always great to continue raising private money. But, hey, if I already have money sitting in the back burner just in case, I'm not going to lose an opportunity where I can make a 6-figure check. So even if you don't need the money, you could always make money with money. That's what I'm trying to say. So you either learn how to do this on your own. There's YouTube University. You could do it. I was desperate because I wanted to get in the game because guess what's going to happen in 5 years from now? Today's prices is going to be super cheap compared to what's coming. That was a story 7 years ago. Buying houses for 70,000, 80,000, 40,000. Now what? 5x to get a good deal.
Well, COVID helped. COVID helped.
COVID destroyed us. them rates destroy the prices.
Well, not only that, property values are appreciating like 20% a year.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, it was crazy. But now we're starting to see some leveling off in different areas. Yeah, so you have that QR code. Please do me a favor, like, subscribe, share this video, come back with questions, because we could always have another. We could always invite Mr. Elizabeth back on, and we could just elaborate more on more of a strategy, because he gave us a very high level view, but there's more in depth. Obviously, there's a whole strategy. He's not just applying randomly to banks and praying he gets approved. I mean, I'm sure he's applying, and he's like, I'm going to get approved, and he knows.
So this week alone, this week coming up, I'm already preparing myself with another play with PNC. So I'll be sharing the win anywhere between 50 and 75,000. That's where I'm at.
You're not, you know, it's going to work. You're not like
correct.
Talk to your fingers. I hope I get approved.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I know it's gonna happen. So that's what I'm trying to say. I paid initially so that I can learn how it's done. Then from there, I've paid more resources because, hey, it does not hurt. It does not hurt to have more tools in the tool belt.
All right. I want to answer something. So people want to talk to me. We could definitely talk, Joe, but I like to also be sensitive to your time, because and we leverage technology, right? So what I recommend is go to our website, right? And this is the first thing I would do, right? Go to our website, hit quick quote. All you have to do is just submit it. You could put transactional loan, you could choose microloan, you choose gator loan, whatever you want. Put it in there. Give as much detail as possible about that. You're going to get an automated email from us, and then we could ping pong back and forth. And once we have a high level view of the details, we just elaborate. No, you can't have too much detail. Then we can hop on a call. Right? Because my team, like Cassandra, she's going to see it. She's going to look at it. But that's the best way, because otherwise it gets lost. We can have a talk and it gets lost. It's a whole CRM that we use to manage the pipeline of all these deals. And I promise you, it's going to take 5 minutes or less to submit it. And you're going to like it because it's so much easier. It's very, very organized. Otherwise, we have a call, and then I'm going to direct you to do the same thing. And that's the most efficient way. You also go on our website. You want to have a chat as well. I would just go on there and just book a meeting. Otherwise, I give you my cell phone. You may text me. You may call me. We're going to play telephone tag, and then it's just easier. Just book a meeting. It hard blocks it on my calendar, and then we're set. It blocks everything else out. That's Joe, you know how to go on there and submit quick quote. It's really, really easy. That's what I recommend everybody to do. But yeah, we could talk about your unconventional gap deal. No problem. Anybody else have questions? Thank you, Ron, for joining us. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it. Remember, like, share, subscribe, scan the QR code. You can also scan ours. Actually, you know what, Joe? You can scan that. Need a loan or book a call. It's right there. Also, I don't know, Joe, if you're a broker, but if you're a broker, just put yourself down as a broker. You'll be emailed, not your client, and we'll go back and forth. You'll be the correspondent with your borrower. I don't know your role if you actually need it, or so. We work with a lot of brokers. And yeah, anybody have questions? I think we're good, Mr. Elizabeth.
Sounds good. Time to eat.
Yeah, I got people waiting on me. I'm like, I see my emails. Well, I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have a whole compile that I'm not gonna get to.
Well, guys, I just hope you guys took at least a couple nuggets. I know for sure that what I'm sharing with you now, especially with Plastique, how you're supposed to do the credit card stack, I paid thousands of dollars, not one or two, thousands of dollars to learn these strategies, and I literally put it in plain English. So, understanding it in plain English and actually doing it live, it is it's a game changer. Trust me. I have over, I would say, a good over $500,000 in credit now.
That's incredible. So you can use that, arbitrage it.
Yeah, and that doesn't even include the buildings that I bought off of it. That every day it's appreciating. So guys, start now, get the money now so that you can make more money on it. And after you do that, then start learning how to fish, and then you'll know what type of fish you want to fish and want to eat. But this is what I could highly recommend you guys where you need to start. And don't wait till tomorrow. Even if you don't want to go on YouTube University, but just make the best move for yourself. That's all I could advise.
And I suggest go watch, I think it was about a month ago, Joe Lawrence, other YouTube video, because you're going to learn a lot. Like he talks about the whole, he goes, it's amazing. And we're probably going to have him on again too. But anyway, thank you so much, Charles, Mr. Elizabeth. Thank you everybody for joining us. And just make sure that you just write us a message. You know, we're going to send the replay out. Just let us know what else you want to talk, what else you want us to talk about. And we could take that and we could prepare and have another one of these YouTube lives. All right. Everybody, guys, happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. It's a short week. I can't believe it's Friday. It feels like a Thursday.
Yeah. You guys got my number there. If you want to shoot me a text, same thing. Let's stay connected. Appreciate you.
Appreciate everybody. Take care. Bye now.